Losing time, I'm fading fast. I just wanna make it last. Try to let go of the past. I close my eyes, embrace the blast. Sleepless nights and headache stack. Restlessness to hell and back.
This phone could be one of the most outrageous examples of just how crazy the smartphone market has become in 2026. And when it comes to buying a new phone, performance is one of the biggest things that matters. Meet the upcoming Redmi K100 Pro Max.
A quick shout out to my tech partner from China for sharing this video. A big thank you for making this possible. Hey everyone, it's Mikey from Tech Maiky. If you love staying updated with the latest gadgets, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss out our exciting tech content.
But here's where things get really surprising. The new Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5 processor is expected to arrive in just 2 months, yet Redmi has decided not to wait. Instead, the K100 Pro Max is reportedly using the exact same Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5 chip as its predecessor, the K90 Pro Max. Honestly, when I first heard this, I was completely confused. So what exactly is the purpose of the K100 series? And if the processor hasn't changed, how much better can the performance really be? We only got a clearer answer after putting the phone through real-world testing and building its 6-dimensional performance chart. And surprisingly, the results were quite different from what you might expect. Overall, the Redmi K100 Pro Max managed to outperform the K90 Pro Max in almost every area. Its peak burst performance was very similar to the previous model, which means the two phones essentially share the same performance ceiling when it comes to raw processor power. However, there were noticeable improvements in several other areas, including video exporting, power efficiency, temperature control, and overall stability. In other words, Redmi appears to have done some serious work underneath the surface. The chip may be the same, but the tuning is clearly much more refined, and the difference becomes even more obvious once we move into actual testing. Starting with the benchmark results, the K100 Pro Max scored 3,677 points in single-core and 11,360 points in multi-core in Geekbench 6. Those numbers are right around what we'd normally expect from a Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5 powered phone. But gaming is where things start getting really interesting. In the first section of Genshin Impact, we tested the phone at 880p resolution with the graphics pushed all the way to the highest settings. The K100 Pro Max achieved an average frame rate of 59.9 FPS with a 1% low of 55 FPS. Power consumption was just 3.87 watts, and the temperature reached only 38.3 degrees Celsius. That is seriously impressive. The 1% low frame rate was around 5 FPS higher than what we saw on the K90 Pro Max. Even more impressive, its power consumption was the lowest among all the Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5 phones we've tested so far. It's actually getting close to the kind of low power performance we've seen from the low power version of Honor of Kings. And here's another detail that makes this even more surprising. The K100 Pro Max doesn't even have a cooling fan, yet its temperature was basically the same as the K90 Pro Max, which does come with a cooling fan. That's pretty crazy. Of course, Genshin Impact is a game we test regularly, so we can't completely rule out the possibility that the K100 Pro Max simply has better optimization for this particular game. That's why we moved on to a second testing scenario, choosing a section of the game where compatibility and optimization are still relatively inconsistent. This time, we ran the game at 800p resolution with the graphics maxed out. The results were again very impressive. The K100 Pro Max achieved an average frame rate of 59.9 FPS with a 1% low of 50 FPS. Power consumption increased to 4.9 watts, while the temperature reached 41.7 degrees Celsius. And once again, the numbers are honestly hard to believe. Compared with the K90 Pro Max, the K100 Pro Max 1% low frame rate was almost 16 FPS higher. At the same time, it consumed 1.67 watts less power and ran around 3.5 degrees Celsius cooler. When you look at those numbers, it almost doesn't feel like you're comparing two phones using the exact same chip. So what exactly is causing such a massive difference? The key factor appears to be GPU utilization. We used a performance analysis tool to dig deeper into what was happening behind the scenes. During gameplay, the GPU utilization on the K90 Pro Max hovered around 80%, while the K100 Pro Max was able to push that figure up to around 85%. And that difference in GPU utilization helps explain how the K100 Pro Max can deliver a dramatically better 1% low frame rate with an improvement of roughly 16 FPS. But there's still another important question. If the K100 Pro Max is actually pushing the GPU harder, why is it consuming less power and producing less heat? The answer seems to come from CPU utilization. During the same test, the K90 Pro Max showed CPU utilization of around 14.5%, while the K100 Pro Max was only using about 10.1%. When we looked at the CPU frequency graph, the difference became even clearer. The processor inside the K90 Pro Max was spending much more time running at higher frequencies, while the K100 Pro Max stayed at a relatively low load for most of the test. That more efficient CPU behavior is ultimately helping the K100 Pro Max achieve better power efficiency and maintain lower temperatures, even though both phones are powered by the same processor.
All of this tells us that the K100 Pro Max has made some major changes to the way it tunes and optimizes the Snapdragon 8 Gen 5 chip. Instead of simply relying on the processor's raw power, Redmi is pushing the chip much closer to its actual potential. Now let's move to the third and most demanding game in our test, Star Trek. We ran it for 30 minutes at 780p resolution with the graphics set to high. The K100 Pro Max delivered an average frame rate of 59.5 FPS, while the 1% low frame rate came in at 31.8 FPS. Power consumption was measured at 5.43 watts, and the temperature reached 42.7 degrees Celsius. Considering how demanding this test is, the temperature result is particularly impressive. Even under this heavy gaming load, the K100 Pro Max was still around 4 degrees Celsius cooler than the K90 Pro Max. That's a pretty substantial difference. And there's more. When compared with other performance-focused phones powered by the Snapdragon 8 Gen 5, the K100 Pro Max also managed to consume less power, while its 1% low frame rate was roughly 2 to 3 FPS higher. So just because the K100 Pro Max uses the same processor as the previous generation, don't assume the actual experience is basically identical. In real-world performance, it feels almost like you're getting a half-generation processor upgrade. The K100 Pro Max also comes with another major feature, a 185Hz display. With ultra-light graphics settings, Crossfire can actually take advantage of the native 185 FPS mode. In our testing, the phone reached an average of 184.5 FPS, basically right at the display's maximum capability. Even the 1% low frame rate remained extremely high at 160.1 FPS. Meanwhile, power consumption was just 4.35 watts, and the temperature was only 37.7 degrees Celsius. That's honestly better than we expected. And Crossfire isn't the only game that can take advantage of this. Other FPS titles can also activate the 185Hz super high frame rate mode through the phone's built-in game tools. To be honest, when I first found out that the K100 Pro Max was going to use the Snapdragon 8 Gen 5, I really didn't understand Redmi's decision. I kept thinking, why not just wait for the next generation chip that's coming in a couple of months? But after actually using and testing the phone, I started to understand the strategy behind it. Maybe this isn't Redmi falling behind at all. Maybe it's a deliberate decision to give optimization more time. For years, smartphone manufacturers have relied heavily on newer and more powerful processors to show clear performance improvements. But in that race for the latest chip, the importance of software tuning and hardware optimization can sometimes get overlooked. Perhaps Redmi's thinking is simple. Instead of spending the next 2 or 3 months rushing to adopt a brand new processor, why not take the chip that's already available and squeeze more performance and efficiency out of it? That approach can still give users a meaningful improvement in real-world performance, while also giving Redmi more time to properly optimize the next generation of its products. And honestly, 2026 is turning into a pretty outrageous year for the smartphone industry. The prices of memory and processors are both going up, putting enormous pressure on smartphone costs. If Redmi were to use an even newer Snapdragon 8 or Gen 6 processor, the starting price of a phone like this could potentially reach around 6,000 yuan. So taking a different route could actually make sense. By sticking with the Snapdragon 8 Gen 5, optimizing it aggressively, and keeping the phone relatively cost-effective, Redmi may have found a pretty interesting balance between performance and price. And that's everything for today's video. Which phone's performance would you like to see me test next? Let me know down in the comments. Maybe the phone you want to see will be featured in the next episode. And if you want to watch more videos like this, click on the avatar on the right to check out the rest of the channel. If you found this video useful, don't forget to save it, hit the like button, leave a comment, and subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.